And business editor Richard Southern joins us now. Richard, happy Friday. How are you, sir?
I'm good. I mean, it's a lot of news to digest, Adrian.
Yeah, let's get right to it then. The top story of the day, of course, President Trump has tested positive for COVID-19. We're hearing that he's on his way to the hospital. We're going to get to that right after this business chat as well. But with just about a month out from the election night, the markets are reacting.
Yeah, I mean, overnight, after we saw that tweet from the president this morning, Adrian, we saw stock futures plunge quite a bit. And the thinking was, boy, we're going to be in for a big sell-off today. That's not quite the way it worked out. Wall Street did close lower, but it was just kind of a run-of-the-mill bad day. The Dow was down 130 points, as you're seeing on the right-hand side of your screen. The TSX was actually up a couple of points, Adrian. The thinking is that in times like this, you can sort of rally around the flag. Maybe it's not out of the realm of possibility this could work out in Trump's favor. Let's not forget the markets. They want Trump to win on a whole. He's seen as a market, a business-friendly candidate.
Yes,
we did
definitely
see some stocks that were closely tied to economic reopening fall, like the airlines. But on the whole, investors weren't too worried about this. And I know you're going to update it after business, but the fact that he is now being brought to Walter Reed Medical Center in Washington, this could certainly change investors' perceptions depending on what happens between now and Monday, Adrian. But as far as what we saw today, there was no calamity on the markets.
Well, there's so many different things, that could happen, depending on his health, depending on how his recovery goes, how quickly he recovers. Does he go to hospital, and is it a long stay? Does he rise out of there and people rally around him? It's unprecedented. There's no playbook for this stuff. Obviously, wishing him, his wife, and anyone else at the White House who contracts COVID-19 the best and a speedy recovery. But really, when it comes to politics, the market, the election, wow, 2020 is going to keep 2020, I guess, here.
Will he stay on the ticket is the question. Even if he's just mildly sick, it's a possibility he may not stay on the ticket. That's something to look for sure.
So many different variables. Now, we're following up as well on a story you first brought us yesterday about some restaurants reporting a spike in their insurance premiums.
Yeah, the last thing they need. Some bars and restaurants here in the city, Adrian, saying their premiums have been hiked 700%. The insurance companies pointing the finger at COVID. I asked the premier about it today. Take a look.
We're off on these insurance companies again because I think everyone knows how I feel. But the hike their insurance policies up 700%. Insurance companies, this is time to help these folks out. Okay, the bottom line is you guys are making a ton of money. No matter if it's car insurance, home insurance, or business insurance, give these guys a break. That's my personal opinion.
So it's possible, Adrian, we could see maybe a moratorium on these insurance hikes being announced. Like the premier said, it's something the finance minister is working on. Tough times for those bars and restaurants right now.
Definitely, the premier there playing on, what public favor would be. No one really likes their insurance premiums going up, especially restaurants, especially during this. You wonder, though, why perhaps steps like that weren't taken ahead of this, perhaps, one step ahead of these rates going up.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Airbnb is taking some extra steps in an event to prevent Halloween parties at its short-term rental listings.
Yeah, because, Halloween's on a Saturday this year, Adrian, and I guess normally we'd be going bananas,
That'd be a good one.
Not this year. Yeah, next year, hopefully. But anyways, Airbnb says we don't want any big shindigs this Halloween at our properties. So they announced today that they are banning any one-night rentals on that Halloween Saturday. They're also going to take a second look, they said, at any 2- or 3-night rentals over that weekend. Airbnb has taken quite a few steps to crack down on parties the past couple of months in advance of what we think is an IPO coming up from that company. Adrian, you and I are back around 6:40. It's been a busy news week, so we're going to lighten things up and talk about some fun, interesting stories coming up at 6:40.
Looking forward to it. We'll see you at 6.
Thanks.
Thanks, Richard.